Hi, welcome back to Cat's Choice Pet Sitting. Today I'm going to introduce you to one of my rescue cats named Lynxy. If you're interested in pet products or selling pet products, you can check out my link below. If you're interested in perfume, I've got another link for that down below as well. But today I'm going to talk about my cat, Lynxy. The way I met him was I was working at the Humane Society here in our county, and I'd been volunteering there for a while, and then I was hired on as a veterinary assistant, and I'd been working there for several months. And my main jobs were to feed and medicate all of the animals in the shelter, both the cats and the dogs, and also the kiddos that were in the recovery room post-surgery. And so I had to watch out for them. And one day, this little gray tabby came in, and he was in one of the recovery cages, and he was just a little tyke, and he was standing up on his hind legs, and he had two front paws up on the door of the cage, and he was meowing his little head off, and he had all these little spots on his tummy, and he was shaved from the waist down. He was quite a sight. He was very adorable and very silly looking, and they told me that he had been found as a stray, and he had been born with an umbilical cord, or an umbilical hernia. So when he was out on the street, he was all by himself, and I think the theory is he may have been kicked out of his litter because he was born with some birth defects, and sometimes the mother will go, no, I have to devote all of my energy to these cats that will probably live, so goodbye. So we think he might have gotten booted out of his litter, but we'll never know for sure, really, maybe. So a kind-hearted person picked him up and took him to a clinic in Port Orchard, and they did an x-ray on him, which you can see here, and then you can see that bumpy tummy is his little umbilical hernia. And so they did the surgery on him at the Humane Society. After the clinic found out that he had this hernia, they said, we can't really help him. We'll send him to the Humane Society. They can get the surgery done there for free, or how they do it. And but it turned out that wasn't his only problem. He also had a blocked urethra. Urethra is the tube that you urinate from, and it was partially blocked on him. I don't know if it was damaged from the hernia, or it was a secondary birth defect. I don't know, but anyway, it was a problem, and he was going to need another surgery. And one of the vet techs there I was kind of already thinking it, but she kind of put the thought in my mind, yeah, hey, why don't you adopt him? And which I really honored her opinion, because I respected her, and I think she must have known that I'd be somebody that could take care of him, which with God's help, yeah, I have been able to take care of him. But so the question was, should he have the surgery there at the shelter, and then I adopt him, or should I adopt him and take him somewhere to get the surgery done, like my own vet? And I talked to my vet about it. His urethra was basically Swiss cheese. He was urinating, and it was going out in different directions. And so that wasn't sustainable to keep him alive. You have to be able to urinate, and you can't have blockages, or you could die. A cat could die in 24 hours with a urinary blockage. So, and it was getting worse every day. So it was heartbreaking to hear that he would have to have such a drastic surgery and lose part of what I thought was him, his identity. But I was wanting to save his life, so I didn't know if I wanted the shelter to do the surgery or if I wanted my vet to do it. And I talked to him. He said that he had done the surgery before. He'd even done it on his own cat, but he had never done it on a kitten before, and Lynxy was still a kitten. However, he did have microsurgical equipment, which the shelter did not have. And so I thought, I think my vet, even though it's going to cost me and come out of my pocket, I think it's going to give him the best chance. And it has turned out so far very well. They had pretty much given him 2 years. They figured he would have to have another surgery in about 2 years, and we're going on 6 years, and he's doing great. Dr. Little said he probably won't live as long as other cats because he has to have so much water. He has a 1-to-1 ratio of water and food every day, and it's a special kind of food that keeps crystals from forming in the urine so that he doesn't have a blockage. And so he's got a lot of liquid going through him every day, so his kidneys are working super hard. And over time, things can wear out. So he may not live quite as long, but we've been lucky so far. I do believe in the power of prayer, and I'm really thankful that he hasn't had to have a second surgery. So his prognosis is super good, and I think we're going to have him around for a long time, and so I'm going to really enjoy him while I can. And here's some pictures of him when he was a kitten. He was, first we had him in that cloth cone because after his post-surgery, we had him in a cloth cone. We thought that it was keeping him from cleaning himself down there. This was at the shelter. It was not working. I took him home, and I was observing him, and I watched him. He went right past the cloth cone. I said, no, I've got to get him a better cone, and so I found a cone for him. We did the cone upside down for a while because he was just a kitten. We wanted to give him some mobility, but then later on, we were able to put it on correctly. Actually, this cone is after he had the perineal urethrostomy, which so he's doing great. You can see him, obviously he's running around, and I'm gonna go bring him up to the camera so you can see what he looks like. He's 14 pounds. He cried all the time when he was a kitten because the food that we had to give him, because of his urinary issue, it didn't have the fat and high calories that normal kitten food would have, and so he was hungry all the time. And I asked my doctor, I asked the vet, I said, is there anything I can give him to help boost his nutrition? I said, can I give him a little bit of salmon? And he said, one tiny piece each day. And so that's what I did. And salmon is, high in fat, high in nutrients, and makes those bears on the Katmai Peninsula giant. So I gave him salmon, just little freeze-dried salmon, once a day, and he's 14 pounds, so which is kind of hefty. Here he is. You can see him a little bit better. Lynxy. Lynxy. When I brought him home when he was a kitten, he had nightmares. He'd be asleep and he would cry out, and then he'd wake up. And then he was like, oh, I'm at home, I can relax. And so that kind of adds to the theory that he must have been out on the street alone, because that's what it sounded like when he would cry out. He'd be like, kind of like, help me, I'm lost. And then he'd wake up and he'd be like, oh, okay, I'm here. It was so nice. I'm going to see if I can get him to relax and come on camera. You're so cute and sweet. There he is. This handsome guy. Yes, this beautiful kitty. There's this beautiful kitty named Lynxy. Yeah.
everybody's a miracle. But so are you. You're just a little kitty. You're just a little kitty.
And he looks, in the wintertime, he just floofs out. He's so gorgeous in the wintertime. Looks kind of skinny now because he's lost some of his coat for the summer. But but that's Lynxy, and he's just been a real joy to both of us, and we love him. And he's a nut. He's a total nut. He's very cuddly. He's very affectionate. He loves to cuddle right up against you and sleep on your shoulder, and he's just super sweet. He loves everybody. He loved all the doctors and the techs at the clinic and at every hospital he goes to. He loves all the people that are caring for him. But a lot of times he can flip though, because he's got this crazy side where he just goes totally wacko, you know, gets puffed up like a balloon, and then he's got to let the air out. So, but when we were saying goodbye, when I adopted him, everybody had gotten attached to him, and so I was letting everybody say goodbye to him, and they were, you know, hugging him, and then he crawled on one of the techs and then bit her on the back. I was like, that's the first time I saw his kind of crazy side. And yeah, we have to be careful. You can't let him go too close to your face, because we've had a couple of close calls here at home. But he's a good kitty most of the time. Most of the time, a good kitty. So I hope you enjoyed seeing him, and he'll probably be in future videos. I'm going to do a video on his housemate, Callie. Thanks for watching, and happy pet sitting. And remember, the best things in life are cruelty-free.